All right. Gonna do this quick coaching video by request on how it felt to make my first $1 million. What did that feel like? How did that change your life? Gotten this question a number of times actually. How does it actually feel to make your first $1 million? And to be 100% honest with you, well, let me back up first of all. For you guys who don't know who I am, I'm basically a self-made millionaire. I built a successful pickup and dating business. I'm a professional pickup artist, and I built a worldwide brand around that. And since then, I've acquired other businesses that are doing quite well as well. And that's what I continue to do these days, is just acquire other businesses that are cash flowing, that have solid products behind it, that already have a customer base behind it. And now I'm just kind of like a serial internet entrepreneur at this point. And it's got to the point where I don't even really need to teach pickup and dating anymore. If I don't want to, I could basically sit on a beach and do nothing for the rest of my life. But I like working. I like doing these coaching videos. I like interacting with guys through social media. And I love the brand that we built. So that's what I'm doing. But in any case, when it comes to making your first $1 million, the thing that you really don't understand until you get there is you don't understand how busy you're going to be, right? And really, when you're still struggling financially, you know, you might have these dreams of like, oh, wait till I get my first $1 million. I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to know exactly the date that I hit that first $1 million, and I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to call all my friends and call my family and call my parents and all this other stuff. But again, when you reach a level where financially you are bringing in like high dollar amounts per month, you start to get pretty busy, to the point where you're so busy running your business, engaging with your employees, engaging with your customers, you know, marketing your business, that you don't really pay attention to those numbers anymore. I mean, literally, when I first made my first $1 million, I didn't even realize I had crossed $1 million. It's kind of like when I joined the 1%, right? I had my accountant call me one day and said, "Hey Matt, we need to create a different tax structure for you." And I'm like, "Why? It's working fine." I'm like, "I can't stand like dealing with that stuff." I'm like, "No, it's fine. We'll just leave it all as is." And she was like, "No, you don't understand. You are now in the 1%, and we need to alter your tax structure, and we need to form a corporation. I want you to form an S corp. We're going to need to create separate bank accounts for this and this." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Why?" And again, it still didn't hit me. She was like, "You're in the 1%. I'm like, "1% of what?" Right? She was like, 1% of income earners. And I'm like, "Really? When that happened?" Right? It's like you don't even recognize it's happening. I didn't even know like how much you had to make in order to reach the 1%, because I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll never get there." I was just like happy with all the money I was making, but I didn't even realize that. And then one day she called and she told me that, and then I was just kind of like blown away. I'm like, "Oh wow, cool. All right, can I get back to work?" You know, and I had to just get back to work, and that's what I did. So when I crossed my first $1 million, I wasn't even aware that I did. I mean, I kind of like had an estimation in my head that I was somewhere in that neighborhood. But then when I actually like looked into my bank accounts and was curious where I'm at financially, at least liquid, right? Liquid. I don't really count my physical assets like my DeLorean or my other car, my Range Rover. I don't really count those so much. I just count my liquid assets. What do I have, right? What do I have available liquid? And I was over $1 million. And I was like, "Oh shoot. Hey, I'm a millionaire." Right? It was kind of, that was my reaction. I wasn't like, "Oh, you know, party." I was just kind of like, I looked at my bank accounts. I was sitting, I think I was sitting in my hotel room. And I just looked on my laptop and I realized like, "Oh, hey, I'm a millionaire." That's how it was, right? I'm like, "Oh, I'm a self-made millionaire." Cool. Thought about it for about like 10 seconds. And then I went back to work. And I'm like, all right, I got a lot to do. Because that's what happens when you reach a level in life where financially you are kicking ass. I mean, financially you're doing well. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Okay, and I was just telling my my girl recently that she was like, do you still enjoy running your business? And I said, I love it. You know, whenever somebody asks me, do you still enjoy running your business after all these years? And I'm like, I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. The thing that I didn't realize in becoming successful, and you may not realize yet. Let me turn this light on. Should I turn this light on here? Yeah, maybe that, because it's starting to get dark, right? This is the last coaching video I'm shooting for today, by the way. The thing you don't realize until you become successful is that there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and it really forces you to mature very, very fast. I mean, if you talked to me even 10 years ago, I was a different person, like at least maturity-wise, than I am now. If you talk to me, especially back when in my teenage years or college years, or back when I was getting in a lot of trouble, you would have been like, whoa, this is like night and day, because I was just like a completely different person back then. No responsibility whatsoever. I just didn't care about the future. I just didn't care about anything, right? Very different than how I am today. And just having the responsibility of having a successful business, managing employees, managing your money, it forces you to grow up really, really fast. And I mean, one thing that I don't see a lot of like successful people talk about is that once you reach a level of success and you have a successful business, or say you got successful in your career, maybe became a surgeon or something like that, it becomes less about the money you make and more about asset protection. Okay, it becomes more about managing that money and where to put it so it works for you, if that makes sense. So one of the things that I didn't realize also is that, like, I mean, I always had this like fantasy in my head that I'm gonna have like millions of dollars in this one bank account, right? And that's not reality. Reality is as a millionaire, you're gonna have multiple bank accounts. The reason why is, first off, most bank accounts only have a $250,000 insurance limit, okay? $250,000 are insured. That means that if you have $255,000 in your account, for example, right? And something happens to your bank account, and say you get hacked, only $250,000 of that money is insured. The other $5,000 you're gonna lose, because that part's not insured. Every bank has a limit of $250,000. Now, there are some banks out there, a lot of banks have tried to sell me on the fact that, nope, we have $1 million insurance limit. Bring your money here. We have $1 million insurance limit. And even then, there's a lot of stipulations with that $1 million insurance. Like if you put $1 million in there, right? So I would not put all my eggs in one basket. Even if they're claiming there's $1 million insurance, for me, I know the $250,000 limit is guaranteed. So for me, you know, there are just dozens and dozens, hundreds of banks out there to put your money in. So for me personally, I have well over a dozen bank accounts at this point. I have like 15 bank accounts, I think, at this point. It's hard to keep track of them all, but I have 15 bank accounts at this point, right? And most of those bank accounts are maxed out with the $250,000 limit. I just don't put any more in there, right? And most of those bank accounts have pretty much like a high interest rate, even though right now at the time of this recording, the interest rates suck. They have a pretty good interest rate going on them, higher than normal. So I just keep my money in there, and I can just continue to open more bank accounts whenever I reach that limit. That's what I do first and foremost. That's to protect myself from an insurance standpoint, right? So automatically that fantasy of like, oh, I'm gonna have this one bank account, I'm gonna put like $5 million in there. It doesn't work that way, okay? It doesn't work that way. You're gonna have to open multiple bank accounts, first of all, to ensure that you're, you know, each block of $250,000 is protected, okay? Now, beyond that, you're gonna have to look at investing. I mean, recently I posted on my IG, well, not recently, it was actually over a year ago, that I had picked up some more AT&T stock, right? So AT&T is a dividend stock, and there are many dividend stocks out there you can invest in. AT&T just happens to be one of the main ones that I invest in, and I don't invest in it for growth, because I had a lot of guys like who trade in the stock market going, why are you buying AT&T? It doesn't grow, it doesn't go anywhere. It's not gonna raise in value. And it's like, dude, AT&T is a dividend stock. I buy it for the dividend, right? The dividend is right now it's 7% and above. You're not gonna get 7%, at least at the time of this recording. I'm trying to keep this light on. You're not gonna get 7% interest off of any bank, off of any, from any financial institution. You have to buy a dividend stock. And I'm not using these stocks. Most of the stocks I hold, I don't use them for growth. I'm not trying to get rich on the stock market. I'm just looking for a place to place my money and get my guaranteed dividend per month. Why? Because that dividend equals cash flow. So one thing you learn once you start to make a lot of money is you learn everything is about cash flow. Okay? You have to have cash flow per month. And so when I look for investments, I look for investments that are going to pay me a dividend. Otherwise, I don't invest. Will I throw some money at like maybe some crypto or something like that? That's a little more volatile. Yeah, sure. I'll throw a little bit at that. I mean, just for fun, just like how I go to Vegas and, I might put like $1,000 down on a bet. Fine. Right? I'm not expecting anything from it. I'm not going to go poor if I lose. I'm just trying to keep this on. I'm not going to go poor if I lose. It's just money that I can afford to lose, right? Whereas with the money I put in like a dividend stock, I am putting like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in these stocks, because I know they're not going to go down a whole lot and they're probably not going to go up a whole lot. I'm just using it as a vehicle to pay me a monthly dividend, right? And I know that AT&T is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, right? AT&T is a 100-year-old company, and that is actually the Fortune 100 company that I personally worked for. That was my last company. And they're just not going to go anywhere, and they pay a really healthy dividend, and they tend to continue to increase that dividend. Will they do that in the future? I don't know, right? But so far, the last several years, it's been a phenomenal dividend stock to hold. It doesn't really keep me up at night. I don't have to worry about it being super volatile or anything like that. They usually have pretty good management at the top, make good moves. But I look for companies like that to stick my own money in and get the dividend, right? So AT&T is one of them, and there are a few other dividend stocks that I hold that I'm not really going to get into in tonight's coaching video. But the point is when you start to make more money, and especially a lot of money, it's like, it depends on how you quantify a lot, right? But I mean, say you're making, over $500,000 a year, then you have to look for vehicles that will serve you best and serve your money best. So a lot of it becomes about asset management, right? A lot of your time and effort will be going towards asset management, and then restructuring your business and purchasing businesses moving forward in a way that will benefit you most from a tax perspective, right? So a lot of it, there's a lot of responsibility that goes in with it, and it's not like you could just party your ass off and just keep collecting money. I mean, you see what happens to a lot of these like former athletes, right? They just make money, and then they never really invest it wisely, or they never do anything but party with it and buy everyone cars, and then the next thing you know, they're broke and they're homeless. And I actually just saw a YouTube video about a former NBA player who became homeless, right? Or another one, I think it was like Antoine, I don't know, he played in the NBA, but played in the NBA, he made like $110 million, and now he's working at Starbucks. I mean, you have to wonder, like, whoa, right? So when you become financially successful, a lot of it becomes about managing your money. A lot of your time and effort will go towards that, as well as your business, right? It's like you'll have dual responsibility, like working on your business and managing your money properly. And there are some days where I miss just kind of going to work and not having to worry about shit, right? There are days where I miss just even being like a teenager and not having any responsibility and not caring about anything, right? And just not caring. I kind of miss that freedom, where it's like once you become successful, you're gonna have responsibility, man. You're gonna have people who work for you that depend on you to feed their families. I mean, even when the COVID thing happened, I had employees messaging me worried that they were gonna lose their jobs. And I literally guaranteed every single one of my employees that you would be fine, nobody's getting fired, nobody's gonna lose their job, and that I guarantee no matter what happens, I will fund, if worse comes to worse, I will fund your salary until we get through this with my own savings account, right? I promised everybody I would fund them because I didn't want to lose anybody, right? And I didn't want anybody to freak out. And I was like, it's hard to find these people. It's hard to find good workers. So I'm like, I don't want to lose you just as much as you don't want to lose me. Don't worry, I will fund this throughout COVID, right? I'm just gonna leave that light off. But in any case, yeah, it's too dark. In any case, yeah, I didn't even realize when I hit $1 million. I was just like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Okay, right? Just because all my money is in so many different accounts, and I don't really keep track of it. I just know it's there, right? I just know it's there. I can just kind of like make a guesstimate, which is what I did. I just kind of guesstimated in my head, like, hey, did I cross 1 million yet? You know, this was a few years ago, and I logged into my bank account, and I was like, I logged into a few of them, and I was like, yeah, shit, I did. I actually crossed it, you know, earlier in the year. How did I not realize that? And so, yeah, you don't really realize it when it happens, and it just kind of happens. And also, too, this is why, like, whenever I've coached people, especially in my entrepreneurs group, because as I mentioned, I run a 1,500 member entrepreneurs group in Los Angeles. We have about 1,500 members. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in that group, and some of those guys are just totally crushing it. We have some guys in that group who are doing $1 million a month. Literally, these guys are doing $1 million per month, right? And then we have other guys like myself who might be doing like 100K per month, right? So it's a vast pool of guys who are entrepreneurs. And then we have guys in the group also who are just newbies and they're just getting started and they just want to create something to leave their 9 to 5. And the thing I tell to all the newbie entrepreneurs, I'm like, if it's just about freeing yourself from your 9 to 5, you want to travel more like I do, you want to have your own freedom of location, live wherever you want, I tell them build a virtual business. Do not open up a hamburger stand, hot dog stand, a car wash, anything that would tie you to a location. Open up a virtual business. And that's why all of my businesses now run virtually. There's no office space we lease or anything. Everything's run virtually. Even when I was running boot camps and coaching, we would obviously like book everybody virtually, and then I would just show up to the event, right? And then run my boot camp. Whereas the businesses I buy now are just, they're all completely virtual, right? And why do you want to build a virtual business? It's because those are the easiest ones to scale, right? Those are the easiest ones to scale because obviously when you have a virtual online business, it will be making money in your sleep. And literally I make money just for existing, right? I mean, even as I mentioned, if I were to retire today, which I could technically if I wanted, right? If I were to retire today, I would continue to make money just sitting on a beach. Why? Because I've now acquired these other properties that cash flow, right? And obviously all my investments, my dividend stocks, those are all cash flowing as well. Those pay like a stipend every month. So, yeah, it's all about cash flow and it's all about creating something that is scalable. It's very hard to scale something like a job, right? Because you're getting paid a fixed amount per hour. You can't scale that. Whereas with a business or a product, say you have a successful product, you could scale the shit out of that, right? You could sell that to millions and millions of people and continue to make, money off of each purchase. Whereas you can't really do that with your job. So I know my dad used to work at the hospital, right? He used to work for Kaiser Hospital for like 35 years. And he always used to talk about the surgeons and how much the surgeons make. And he was like, oh, these surgeons are making like, this much per year. And it's funny now looking back on it, because I used to be blown away by that. He was like, oh, maybe you should think about becoming a surgeon. I'm like, I don't think I'm smart enough to become a surgeon. But, but he was like, they make so much, they make really good money, and they make this much. And I couldn't believe that at the time. But looking back now, I mean, I even make more than surgeons do. Crazy, right? People are like saving people's life. I make more than surgeons do. In any case, so you need a business that's scalable, guys. You need a business that will scale for you and that will make you money in your sleep. And this is why I'm a big fan of online businesses, online products, virtual products, because they could be scaled very easily. I don't like these e-commerce sites that sell physical products where you're dealing with like Amazon FBA and you have to rent out like warehouse space, and you have to deal with returns of physical products. Those are a pain in the ass too, defective items. I don't like that. I like all virtual, right? All virtual. And those are usually the quickest paths to riches, right? Even real estate these days is not as fast as just building an online business. So that is the way to go, and that's how it felt to make my first million. I didn't even realize I did it because I was too busy working, too busy managing my money, and you know what? That's the reality that nobody will tell you. But I'm telling you, as a self-made millionaire. And with that said, I'm gonna wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from AlphaMaleSecrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Go ahead and smash it right now. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a ton when you subscribe. Okay? Tells YouTube you love my coaching videos, you want me to produce more of them. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel as well. And for all of you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, and platinum pill content that I'm teaching you even further, the best way to do that is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium AlphaMaleSecrets program, which I'm hosting on a private platform. And the reason I'm doing that is to protect my premium content from YouTube in the event they try to ever shut us down one day. All of my premium AlphaMaleSecrets coaching lessons will still be available on our private secure server. So this is the absolute best way to support my work, guys, is becoming a premium subscriber of my premium AlphaMaleSecrets channel. And right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium AlphaMale coaching lessons from me. So take advantage of it, and all you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. As we sign out from the DeLorean, I'm gonna shoot down to Newport Beach right now and pick up my girl. We're supposed to go to dinner, so I'm gonna go do that right now. And until next time.